What's going on, guys and gals? This is Autotech, and welcome back to another episode on the Tiger 800 XCA. Today we're going to be removing the valve cover. Basically, to get right into that, you have to unhook these two connectors, get them out of your way, take your fuel line, kind of get that out of your way. We'll be able to move that a little bit better a little bit later on. However, what we're going to do first is we're going to remove this little PCV system. And in order to do that, you have one 8mm bolt, another one over here, and one more and another one back here. A swivel 8mm socket will make your life, a dream when it comes to removing this. However, you could just get it in there and do it like that. So we're going to go ahead and get those 4 bolts out, and then we will check back in. All right, now that you got that little PCV thing out of the way, do not try and pop these out of your valve cover. They're stuck in there and they're a non-serviceable item. You have to get them with the whole valve cover. So just leave them alone. Don't pry on them. Don't do nothing like that. Now we're going to go ahead, get these 2 connectors undone and undo all the connectors on the ignition coils. Now that you got these wires out of the way, go ahead and unhook your throttle body, and then you'll be able to swing this harness up and just kind of out of your way. If you have to, you can even like zip tie it to your guard or just to your frame so that it's out of your way while you're working. Now you're gonna go ahead, grab onto these coils. There's basically nothing keeping them in there. So all you do is just twist and pull, and eventually they will pop right out. They're a little bit stuck in there. There we go. And there you have it, the coil is out. Try not to pull on this connector part. Try and get your fingers here and try and get your fingers like a little bit underneath it so you don't snap the connector off. All right, so next up, I'm not gonna be able to show you this very well, but at the bottom of each throttle body, there is a band clamp. If you use a 3mm ball-headed Allen, just like I'm holding right here, you can get through onto this one. And then, if you go through here, you can also get onto that second one. I don't know if that's showing up. Not really. This is kind of tough to show you guys here. Okay, there we go. You can see it now. Right where I'm flashing the flashlight. That gold band. And then there is one more. You can see it from the top here. Let me get an aim on it. Right down in there. So for this one, you come in just underneath this fuel line, right underneath there, and you'll be able to get on that one. I'll show you that when I have the wrench on there. You're not like removing these, you're just loosening them. All right, so just to check back in, you can see that I have my extension there with the socket, and it is going up into that band clamp. Yeah, hopefully you can see that. Sorry if you can't. It's there. Now that you got those 3 band clamps loosened, you're just going to grab your throttle body and you're going to pull slightly and get it to just pop out. And then all you have to do is just kind of keep it slightly out of the way. That's just so that you can get the valve cover up. Otherwise, in a couple of steps here, you would discover that the valve cover hits it and does not clear. So you can actually just leave the throttle body sitting on top of those tubes so that nothing falls into them. And then when it comes time for the valve cover, we'll just be like tilting this out of the way, getting the valve cover out, and then setting this back down on top of it. All right, so next up, you're gonna grab your 6mm Allen. You'll have pretty good access to everything. Like you might have to shift these wires a little bit just to get onto this one. If you come in through this back side, you'll be able to get onto that back one. For these front 2 here, unfortunately, you're gonna have to use an Allen wrench. But yeah, basically go ahead and start removing those bolts. I mean, he's not gonna be able to do it. He's not gonna be able to do it. Of course he's able to do it. All right then. Once you start removing those valve cover bolts, you're going to notice that you got a couple of different ones. The 2 short ones are the ones that go to the front. That's pretty self-explanatory, but I just thought I'd point that out to you in case you took them all out and then, we're like, wait a second. All right, so now comes the part that you're not truly going to enjoy. I found it was easiest to get this to pop up just by getting it in under that gasket, giving it a couple of hits, and now it's up. Now I'll be able to just kind of work my way through it and get it to pop up. And to do that, just kind of hook your fingers under it, get your fingers under the other side, and there you go, that'll pop up. All right, so we're gonna do a little bit of experimenting here. He has the Triumph tank guard bars, whereas my bike, I have the Hepco and Becker, so I can just take these right off. I think this will actually fit through there, so we're gonna give that a try. So we're gonna lift up on the valve cover, see how the throttle body moves slightly out of the way, and nope, that's not gonna fit. Okay, so I think we're gonna have to take this coolant reservoir off. So I'm gonna go ahead and unbolt that and I'll check back in with you. All right, so we gave it the old college try. It doesn't fit, and now it's stuck. So now we're gonna go ahead and just take this tank guard bar off, and then that'll slip right out of there. All right, so now that that tank bar is out of the way, just go ahead and slide that valve cover out. Go ahead, take this valve cover gasket out. Be careful, because these things can pop out on you. And go and wash this in your kitchen sink when your wife's not around, because the dish soap is actually the best thing to remove the oily residue off of that. Just remember to clean out the sink after, because otherwise you'll get in trouble. So something that I forgot to point out on this valve cover, before you go and wash it, go ahead and pop these little grommets out. They're a little bit tough to get under, but they'll go. There we go. All right, so yeah, pop out all 6 of those before you wash it, and definitely remember to leave these ones alone. When it comes to reinstalling these grommets, it's the rubber side down. They install much easier than they come out. They just kind of like bake in there. Not a big deal. And then it is best to install the new gasket onto your cylinder head, because there's a nice little crevice that'll like push the gasket into it, and then you've got a piece that kind of goes along the top here. Before you put the gasket in on this side, just a small smear of silicone right from about here down through here to about here, and then from about here through to here. Then push the gasket on, put the valve cover in, and you're gonna torque the bolts to 10 Newton meters. For those front 2 that you can't really get on, you can just go to this one and see where the Allen wrench just starts to move, then set those ones to the exact same thing. That's where I'm gonna leave you off for today. You definitely won't need me for the reinstall of this, because once you get your bar out of the way, it's gonna slip right in there. If you're new to this, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and as always, thanks for taking the time and watching.